Welcome in and welcome back. I'm here with a video, 5 books to read in 2021. This is a video that will be made in conjunction with my other channel, Strip Cover Lit. I will have a link to Strip Cover Lit in the description below. Strip Cover Lit is the channel where I talk about books, I talk about short stories, I talk about poetry, I talk about fictional things, fiction, the world of writing included. On this channel, I talk a little bit about nonfiction books, and that's going to be what this video is about, is the nonfiction books that I am suggesting to read in 2021, and a little bit about why I suggest each of these books to be read in 2021. And over on Strip Cover Lit, I will have 5 fiction choices for 2021. The first book that I want to suggest or recommend, I guess would be the proper word, is The Dragons of Eden by Carl Sagan. I know that my video is mirror imaged. I cannot help that. It is the situation with which I am currently working. But The Dragons of Eden, the subtitle here, Speculations on the Evolution of Human Intelligence. This was a life-changing read for me. I read this back, I think, in 2015 or thereabouts. And it was something that really sort of changed the way that I look at things, changed the way that I think about thinking, changed the way that I think about what it means to be human. If there's one thing for which Carl Sagan can be thanked to this day, it is the fact that he makes the world of science a wondrous place. Not just a wonderful place, but a wondrous place. Carl Sagan's writing invites you in and demands that you stay. And it is because of this that what he does most often is he will present facts. He'll give you facts about things, and then he'll just invite you into wondering about what it is that these facts mean. What is it that these facts lead to? What is it that these facts tell us about ourselves? The writing of Carl Sagan is constantly a reminder that we are all in this together. We are all in this with one another, whether we like it or not. So, Carl Sagan, if you do not read The Dragons of Eden, maybe make a point to get out and get some Carl Sagan one way or another. The next book that I am going to recommend is a placeholder. It need not be this book in particular. The Smartest Money Book You'll Ever Read by Daniel R. Solon. This book really changed the way that I think about money. And the reason I say that this book is just a placeholder is I don't think it's necessary that you read this book in particular. But I think that we are heading into times where we must take our finances more seriously than we do. This was a book that allowed me to really take a step back from the money that I am spending and say, okay, how can I do this in a smarter way? It is not about what you make, it's about what you keep. And one thing that I've always said about money, and I don't know if I got this from anywhere, I think this is from me, but money is not about availability. Money is about sustainability. Don't think about the money that you have, think about the money that you will have. That is one thing that really helped me change the way that I think about finances in general. But I think that what we're going into, another down cycle in everything. The stock market, in finances, in employment, in all of these things. If you saw recently, there were 935,000 jobless claims when only 715,000, I believe, were expected. This is a very bad warning sign. I think that things will not get perhaps as dire as they were in 2008-ish. But I think that what we could be looking into is a sustained recession. And in sustained recessions, one of the things that is most beneficial is to more heavily keep track of the money that you are spending and see if there is some type of money from that you can keep instead. The next book I want to talk about is a biography. You might notice it missing from the back there if you've spent any type of time on my channel at all. Einstein, His Life and Universe, a biography that comes to us from Walter Isaacson. This really humanized Albert Einstein for me. And humanization of the brilliant among us, I think, helps just as much, if not more, than humanization of the those among us who are struggling, right? I think that oftentimes much is made of, and rightfully so, much is made of the fact that certain people are dehumanized from time to time. We don't think of this group of people as human. We don't think of that group of people as human. We don't care what these people think. We don't care what those people need. And I think part of that is not because so many people think they're better than those other people. I think that oftentimes the reason that happens is because we think the Einsteins of the world, the Elon Musks of the world, the Jeff Bezos of the world, the Bill Gates of the world, they're up here, and I'm down here. And that person that we've dehumanized, that person's down here too. So why do I care about their needs when I'm not getting my needs? Because these people have all the brains in the world, have all of the resources in the world, have all of the this or that in the world. By humanizing those people who are up here, I think that it is possible to remind ourselves that we are capable of more than maybe we're giving ourselves credit for. I think that it is absolutely necessary to read about the quote-unquote great people, because it reminds us that things like that are absolutely possible. Now, was I born with a CPU as powerful as Albert Einstein? No. But all of us have some type of creativity in us. All of us are able to look at things in different ways than other people. These are things that Albert Einstein was incredibly good at. And by reading about someone such as Einstein, I think that it is possible to prime those parts of our brain which are responsible for those actions, which are responsible for looking at things in a different fashion. Also, Einstein was a humanist. I think we are heading into a phase, I think that we're heading into, I hate to sound too tarot card-ish about this, too predictory about this, but I think we're heading into harder times than we have known for the past few years. And I think that it is necessary to become a bit more humanist for myself than I have been. I think I need to really start opening up to other people and inquiring about them. And that's one thing that Einstein was really good at, actually. Einstein was not the most social being, but if you read this biography, you can tell that Einstein was one of those people who could meet you once and know things about you. And it's really impressive and very well written. It humanizes Einstein. Like I said, it shows you those aspects of Einstein's personality, which were really fun, as opposed to just the workaholic, sort of aloof genius. The next two picks that I have here, the next two books, are books which are selfish for me, books which are important to me this year, books which I will, on this channel, in fact, be reading through. The first, Leonardo da Vinci by Walter Isaacson. There is a 4-part playlist already on this channel about this book, and I will have more parts. I'm going to do a part at least per chapter on this book, so this will end up being a 30-plus part series that's already ongoing on this channel. One of the things for me that I want to use 2021 to do is to get back in touch with the artist inside of me. I have forsaken a little bit of that artist in recent years. I have gone away from those things which are artistic for those things which are hardworking. And I know, when I was in grad school, so many years ago, I learned that art can be hardworking and is not fits of genius, is not an all-nighter with divine inspiration. Art is something which is chipped away at. Art is something which is discovered moment by moment in the human life. And that's something I've got to get back to. And reading about Leonardo da Vinci so far in this biography, it has become a little bit of a renaissance, pun intended, for my inner artist, in that I am discovering art with Leonardo through the words of Walter Isaacson. So that is one thing for which I thank Isaacson in his writing of this biography. But yeah, again, I have a playlist on this channel as we go through this biography chapter by chapter, which has proven for me, at least, very fruitful. The last book on my 5 nonfiction books that you have to read in 2021, Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. I have not read this. I have only read the first little part of this. It is something which I will be going through again, part by part, here on this channel. Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, you're looking at Stoicism. And Stoicism is something that I have tried very hard to work into my life. Stoicism is something that I have not read for which I have not read any of the foundational texts. So it is important to me to get through this and to create a series on this channel, bit by bit, part by part, piece by piece, which is, if for no one else, fruitful for myself. This is a selfish read. But again, just like the money book, this need not apply for you if there is some other philosophy in which you are currently interested. I think that philosophies are something which are going to help us greatly going forward as well. I think that philosophies are something which have been muted in recent years. I think that philosophies are something which have been demonized in recent years. I think that differences of viewpoints are something which have been demonized in recent years. And especially on that last point, I think that reading the foundational texts of Stoicism will help me here in 2021. So if you are interested in that, hit the subscribe button if you are not subscribed to this channel, because we're going to be going through Meditations by Marcus Aurelius piece by piece on this channel. But yeah, tell me below what books, what nonfiction books that you have on the agenda for 2021 and why. Also, don't forget that over on my book channel, Stripped Cover Lit, a link to which will be found in the description box, I'm going to be going over the fiction reads for this year. And like on this channel, I had 1 or 2, this need not be the book, but here is a type of book. I've got 2 of those over on the Stripped Cover Lit video as well. But yeah, that was all for 5 nonfiction books that I think you should read in 2021. Let me know your books, your picks below.